Creating a beautiful design and compelling content is only part of making your website a success. Your site also needs to have a healthy amount of visitor traffic on a regular basis. What good is content if nobody comes to see it? And as we have talked about in other videos, people find things on the internet by using search engines. So it would be great if we could know what terms they are searching for and find the ones that have low competition, not a lot of pages, so we have a good chance of making it to the first few Google pages for that term. The tool we use for this is called the Google Keyword Tool or the Google Adword tool. Since I'm doing this video on the Google Keyword Tool, let's use that as a model. Now, understand that each time you write a blog post or have a product, it is always good to use the keyword tool to try and figure out what the best search term is for that page, so you can put it in strategic places throughout your post. In the Google Keyword Tool video, there'll be a page that houses the video. That video page will have a title, and it's going to have a little bit of summary text, and it's going to have a picture. And once I know what the good keyword tool is, I can place that term throughout the post and make it better for the search engines to find it. So let's start out with the Google Keyword Tool. The way you find it, best way is going to Google, put in Google Keyword Tool. There it is. So you can also, it's also called the Google AdWords. Okay, now it's pretty simple. What you want to do is pick a keyword that you think would be good, or even one that you think might be too broad, and put it into the word or phrase area, and the Google Keyword Tool will spit out the number of times it's been searched in a month and the competition for that search term. And it also will give you suggestions for other terms. So what we do is we go over here to word and phrase, we put in, let's start with Google Keyword Tool. We are going to leave these other things blank. We aren't going to use only show ideas closely related because we want to get a more broad idea. Here you can have certain types if you want it to be only exact or very broad, so it gives you lots of suggestions. I tend to use phrase. It sticks with the Google Keyword Tool phrase, doesn't get too far off the beaten path. Now in the advanced option and filters, the Google Keyword Tool by default will search on or filter on the local monthly searches in that order. But we really are only looking for low and maybe medium competition. So I'm going to actually change this to competition, and you can choose low and medium, so you only see suggestions that are low or medium. And of course, for the first time, you're always going to have to put in the CAPTCHA. So we hit search, and what it does is it gives you the Google Keyword Tool as a term. It shows you the competition. Move that down so you can see competition, the global searches, and the local monthly searches. I tend to look more at the local monthly searches. That means the United States. In many cases, we're using Amazon in the United States. So that's really where most of your traffic will come from. So you can see that it's low competition, but there does seem to be quite a bit of searches that would lead me to believe that there's probably also a lot of pages. Remember, we're trying to get a combination of number of pages, competition, and searches that is in balance. So let's take a look at some of these other ones. You can see here there's Google Keyword Tools, and that has low competition. It's got about 2,400 local monthly searches. So what we do is we hit Google Search first, and we get a search of that actual term. Now, what we want to make sure we do is put it in quotes, which means we're only searching on that term and not any of the individual words. And you can see there's about 853,000 pages. That's really high. We don't want to we'll never be able to get up that high from scratch. So let's go back and take a look again. Let's look at some of the other ones. Let's look at AdWord's keyword tool. It has 33,000. Let's do a Google search. That's probably going to have quite a bit, even though the competition is low. But we'll give it a shot. And we can see there's 3,210,000. Okay. So you're beginning to see a picture. It's a little bit of trial and error. After a while, you'll figure out just by your experience which terms tend to work, and you'll also be using terms that are particular to your website, so you'll start to get a better feel as time goes on. This won't take as long. Let's look at something like, we can see AdWord's keyword tool. Maybe we try the other word. Instead of Google, we use AdWords. We saw that some people call it the AdWords tool. Let's give that a shot. And that's down to 195,000, so that's pretty good, but that gives me another idea. What if I just use AdWord tool? Now let's see what happens. So the AdWord tool also has low competition. It's got 1,900 local monthly searches, which would be pretty good. Let's see what happens with the Google search. That's only got 18,000 pages, so that's actually really good. We have a pretty good ratio now. We've got 1,900 local searches and 8,100 global searches with only low competition and a really low number of pages. So we should be able to do really well with this. So now we know that AdWord tool is our keyword phrase that we want to use.